Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Let's Play. So, I added in the windows, well, yeah, there was an in-between episode period of time, and I think I'm going to be spending this, actually, I don't want to go mining. Because I just went mining. But I will be doing a lot of this. This is gonna be a very boring few minutes. By few minutes, I mean look at that roof. That roof needs a lot of stairs and slabs and whatever else, really. I should put a block of obsidian there so I can just mine into oblivion. Just hold down the left click button. Or the last, I am stupid. Not sure what I should be talking about for the duration of this standing here and breaking blocks of cobblestone. Not a particularly fun activity, but it is necessary. Therefore, I'm doing it. The music is very nice. It's like these are like the most surface level. What's the word for it? Non-transformative comments I could be making right now. Am I okay with that? Yeah, I suppose I am, but This should be, like, in and around enough. At least for the time being. Enough to last the rest of the episode, probably. Maybe this kind of stuff is why I don't record this series as much as I'd like to. Because, oh man. The boring menial tasks really are boring menial tasks. And when it comes to doing large building projects, such as building an entire neighborhood, not much you can do about it. I don't know. That much. And I'll put all the undersides of these after the fact. Okay, as it was turned on, I did not need anywhere near as much slabs as I made. It's fine. Apologies for the lack of commentary. I think I've said that like 3 or 4 times already, but don't feel the need to apologize. Because this is very boring. Even this is boring to do. I can't imagine how boring it is to watch me do it. Oh, that's annoying. How does it do that? Alright, well, it's not really there yet, but... It's looking pretty good right now. A lot of polishing up needs to be done, but overall not bad. I'm gonna get the rest of the cobblestone down here, because, dear lord, that cobblestone generator is slow, even by my standards. Have you ever just like watched something like a TV series or whatever, you know, something that's continual or just in general really long or doesn't release all at once, and maybe played something, and as it goes along, as it gets closer to whatever endpoint it's trying to get to, it gets worse. It just gets worse and worse and worse. But for some reason, you can't stop watching it. Like the sunken time fallacy. Sort of, well, you made it this far. How's it gonna end? You know? Just sort of holding on to that interest of where it will end up, or holding on to it because you've spent so much of your time investing into it in the past and in the present, that even if it seems completely unreasonable to continue watching or continue playing or whatever, you still do it. There's this one TV series I've watched that this whole conversation here is going to be a big immersion break for the whole, like, oh guys, it's 2012 sort of thing, so I'm going to just drop it to say this, but the CW's adaptation of the Flash comics, dear lord, series was pretty good when it started. The fight scenes were like complete nonsense and the dialogue was a little hit or miss, but, you know, started off pretty good. All things, despite everything else. All the characters had actual stakes in the plot. The cast members didn't look like they were forced to continue under contract, yada yada yada. As it went along, though, it got worse. As most media does, but especially this. It got worse. Like, way worse. In every single aspect, there is not like a single part of that series that by the end wasn't a complete shell of its former self. But you know what? I kept watching it. Fucking hell! Don't do that. But yeah, I kept watching it, right? It wasn't necessarily reasonable in the slightest to continue because, I mean, like I said, it got worse. It got so much worse. It was a complete shell of its former self by the time it had finished. But, I don't know. I kept watching because, you know, I had made it that far, so might as well keep going. by the time it ended, that was about what was it? I think it was beginning of last year, or maybe beginning of 2 years ago. Either way, when I got to the end of it, I think the funniest and most pathetic part about I saw you coming about the entire experience of getting to the end was that the episode I perhaps cared about the least was the last one. I don't necessarily know why. It's not like I wasn't interested to see how it ended, because, you know, of course I'd be interested to see how it ended. The ending to anything that would be going on for that long would surely be interesting, at least in some way. Even if it is just, even if it would be just to regard and look back on what it was and how it could have ended, and instead of, you know, how it actually ended and whatnot. But where do you guys keep coming from? Jesus. Where was I? Oh yeah, right. And Jesus Christ. When all was said and done, when it ended, I did not give a shit. I guess spoiler warning. The ending was perhaps the single most lame thing that could have possibly happened in this series. That being, oh, you remember all the sort of antagonists we gave the characters? Let's just bring them all back for the final episode. Which, you know, is it's about as boring as it sounds. Though it felt like the writers completely forgot, not just for that final episode, but just like for the final season in general, forgot that it was ending, or just didn't write it as if the series was going to be over. Which is stupid, because they had every sign in the world to determine that it was ending. It's not even like they were, I forget what that was. It was like an 80s time travel series that ended, that when it ended, the producers essentially told the main guy behind it, like, write it as if it's going to end, because we probably won't get it renewed. They had way more signaling than that. They had a straight up, it's going to end here, write it as if it's going to end. Like, straight up. They didn't even have a, maybe it'll end. No, it will definitely end. Please do something about it. And they did nothing. Nothing at all. They wrote it like they would any other season of the show, which is incredibly stupid. Obviously. And I know it might sound like I'm mad at the way it ended, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really expect much from them. Like, by this point, I knew that I and everybody else watching the show knew that it was not going to be the same series. It was not gonna be anything less than, it wasn't going to be anything less than what it had become, nor would it be anything greater than it. It would not have changed either way, I don't think. even if the writers did have this like miraculous moment, I don't think it would have necessarily washed out the taste of everything that had come before. Although then again, there was that one episode in the final season that did kind of wrap things up. In fact, that episode, season 9, episode 10, I think it was, that one should have been the last one. I don't know why it wasn't. I don't know in what world there needed to be an extra 3 episodes after it, but that one should have been it. It really should have. But no. No. They just had to, you know, oh no. That's the beginning of the end. I'm like, guys, what do you mean it's the beginning of the end? That is literally the titular character's character arc completed. Where do you go from there? And, you know, the answer to where did you go from there is, I don't know, they don't really go anywhere. They sort of just meander for 3 episodes and then boom, the last 5 minutes they wrap everything up. I'm like, I want to know what's the saddest part about the ending is the whole last 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes leave things more open-ended than any of the previous seasons of the shows that ended on cliffhangers did. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they somehow made the last season the least conclusive. I think that's just really pathetic. And funny, but pathetic. Although not funny in a haha you made me laugh way. Funny in a looking back on it that is so stupid kind of way, you know? So, I don't know. Sunken time fallacy is a trap. Just ignore your biases. If something isn't good and it's not getting better, then don't continue on with it, because chances are it won't be. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. That's probably not a very good thing to say, actually. Now that I think about it, especially when applied to mental health. Good lord, no. No. I here at youtube.com/@epicall0 do not encourage any of my viewers to commit suicide. I think that's enough said. Yeah. What the fuck was I going on about? I guess I was sort of at the end of my point there. Jeez, that was loud. I suppose I probably won't be doing much else for this episode, so I guess we'll cut it here. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. Really appreciate you. I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.